Harari Kinaos Radio. Harari Kinaos Radio.
Today's guest on HQR is Dr. Berhan Ahmed, CEO of AFRICAUSE, previously known as African Australian Multicultural Employment and Youth Services, adjunct professor at the University of Melbourne, Victorian Australian of the Year of 2009, and ex-Australian Institute of Company Directors member, ex-Victoria Police Human Rights Committee members, and founder and ex-chairperson of the African think tank in Australia, ex-chief editor of the ATT Focus e-magazine and current editor of Fresh Voice News Bulletin, ex-board member of Flemington and Kensington Community Legal Centres, and well known to many Africans residing in Australia through his commitment to numerous community issues via his mainstream media and community activities. First African Australian Senate candidate for federal elections 2004 for Victoria, elected as chairperson on the 19th of March 2006 for the African think tank as a PIC African organisation, and served as the advocate of human rights and refugee settlements in Australia for African refugees. Refugees Committee 1997 to 2005, and being board member of the Australian Multicultural Education Services 2007 to 2006.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Berhan Ahmed.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you for your time. I really do appreciate giving us your time and your busy schedule. I don't know how to introduce you, Doctor. You're the first and everything in our community, the 2009 Victorian Australian of the Year.
Yes.
Did I miss anything, Dr. Berhan?
Well, look, all this is an effort that I did. It was everyone. It's not only one person does everything. We have got community that is prospering. We have great future in front of us. Especially now with the new generation coming, well educated, with cultured and valued religiously, we are in a very strong position. The future is really great. We need to capitalize on what we have now. The gold is in our hand.
Thank you. You are currently CEO of AFRICAUSE.
Yes.
Can you just tell us a little bit about it and what service does it provide?
Thank you. Well, look, to introduce AFRICAUSE, as you know, our community is fragmented. And I tried within my community, and I always feeling like we're all the same. In the eyes of the Australians, we're all one people. They cannot differentiate between us. So I thought of this, and I go to prison, I go to a university, I see young people coming. I feel always, these are my kids. My ethnicity, my boundaries does not make me any. So AFRICAUSE established to bring the communities together, to stop dividing ourselves, because the face facing us is one problem that we all feel it in our house, and that is the employment crisis, the opportunity crisis for our kids, the language, the cultural, and all the stuff that we face. So AFRICAUSE established to address the issues that collectively we feel. Now, AFRICAUSE spearheading issues with education in the schools for our kids. Most of African kids in the school, regardless of how dark or white they are Africans. They're all treated under one. And racism is rampant. So we need to stop that. Our kids need to get a good environment to prosper, to be the best kids. They have everything, but the opportunity need to be addressed and supported. So AFRICAUSE addresses that issue. Second, AFRICAUSE stands on employment issue, creating opportunities. Because, as you know, in this country, it's either you have capital or network. If you don't have neither of the two, you're out of the game. So AFRICAUSE established links with the mainstream systems to create an entry of our kids and some of our community members into the system. For argument's sake, AFRICAUSE initiated and established connection with Victoria Police. because the Victoria Police see our kids inherently violent because of that blackness. They see the problem. So we need to break that. And we introduced employment with Victoria Police. We nearly got over 200 members of our community from a wide, diverse background into Victoria Police, which they create within the police a cultural understanding, religious understanding of our background, but also in the front line. They help our kids not just to become victims, but to help them to see police as their support, as their service to protect them. And so many issues with justice, with court cases, and many challenging facing our communities. We're trying to address that. Moreover on that, we're talking about our refugees who are suffering in our region. From one area to another area, the fire is igniting. People are suffering, and these people need our voice. AFRICAUSE is spearheading these issues in addressing the plight of our refugee. Just 2 weeks ago we invited the minister to talk about this issue at Victoria University. And also with that, Victoria University and Melbourne University are partners. RMIT is partner with us. So we are now introducing African teachers in schools. We created scholarship. Through this scholarship, we are supporting members of our community to be teachers, so that our kids in school, they get a sigh of relief, that they're not seen as aliens, but they're seen as any child in the school that needs to be supported and flourish. So AFRICAUSE is addressing some of this basic issue. And I'm short, I don't want to go into everything, but I'll leave that as a start to the discussion.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ahmed. You work as a human rights issues, refugees, and as you said, story of refugees, since we left mid-70s, it's been repeated itself, different part of the world, different, especially in our area. It just, as East African, we've been here for 40 years. We're 2024 is our 40th anniversary. How do you reflect on that? And what's your thoughts?
Well, look, to be honest with you, at the time, if I go back to the good old days, and I remember back in the early 90s, I was addressing this issue with the department. One of the issues was they were bringing us young boys and young men with no women, with no families. I remember addressing that issue. As a community, we need to have families around us. We need to have our women and whatever, to migrate equally. We succeeded, we addressed that. And now when you reflect all that journey, to be honest with you, it was a success, because we established ground for Australia to see our region as part of their migration process. Unfortunately, the latecomers, their contribution has dwindled, because Australia measures people on certain grounds. Now, integration is not measured by just being people integrating. Integration is measured by people work. Unemployment rate always tells that the community participation. Adding to that, welfare dependency brings another question. Justice, prison number, brings those questions into the front. When you look to the time we all came with a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams, and we all went all our directions. And to be honest with you, when I see to all those people, 90% of us succeeded in our life. We established family, we bought our own houses. We created an environment for new generation to prosper. And we also supported new people to come. But one thing has been missing, and that is we never penetrated into the mainstream society to create network for our kids or for the newcomers. The good thing and the bad thing of our migration, Australia in time where we come used to be a manufacturing economy. And in a manufacturing economy, they need your muscles, they don't need your brain. Australia in the 21st century became a knowledge and service economy. Knowledge and service economy requires skills, requires knowledge, requires language. If we take that scenario to our first arrival, we would have had so much struggle to move to where we are now. The latecomers, particularly from the 2000 onwards, where the 21st century, the economy has changed. If you remember, at the time we came, Toyota factory, Ford factory, whatever factory, they were looking for us. In fact, to my always reminding case is when I was in the hostel, in the first 2-3 days, Toyota factory came to pick us to say, please come and work for us. Now, where do you get that? There's none of that. So, the opportunity has changed, the economy has changed, but have we changed to anticipate to that? Unfortunately, no. Our newcomers has faced that dilemma and start to fail. Okay? I don't blame us for not doing that because we still were in less than 20 years in the country. We never penetrated much. But one thing I saw and I feel like is we should have participated in the political parties in whatever. One of the advantages I took myself was I joined the Labour Party in 1993. And that gave me so much understanding of political dynamics of the country. Not only that, brought me to know the key figures in the party. If you remember, Berhan Ahmed used to be Deputy Prime Minister at the time. He was member with me in Fitzroy where I was living. So it was cross relation. Jerry Hand used to be my local MP. So what I'm trying to say to you is, if we had mentors, if we had understanding, if we, not all of us, few of us, if we would have penetrated, that would have helped the journey for our next generation and the newcomers. But unfortunately, we have not participated in that. And that has the negative effect, as I said to you, our kids lack network in the game. And this is where AFRICAUSE is striving now. Given the network that we established with the mainstream, we're trying to capitalize for our future generation. AFRICAUSE has helped many Africans to join the state government employment, which we have now penetrated the bureaucracy. National Bank Australia. We worked with National Bank, and National Bank now has got over 200 Africans in their banking nationwide. Australia Post, at the start, the then, finance minister, we worked with him to penetrate in the early 90s from Carlton. Lazy Tanner, we worked with him to penetrate. We had a meeting to open that opportunity. We did. And so on and so forth. So these opportunities for our kids is the only way that their journey will make it easier. Because in this country now, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Or you have capital also to create companies, create whatever. We don't have the capital. So the only opportunity that we leave legacy to our kids is the network. And we strive for that, and that's where I see our kids will always haunt us if they fail we have not paved the way for them.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. You're
Pleasure.
talking about your kids. You probably followed the last council election and you've seen really promising sign. I consider it promising sign.
It is.
Even starting from my area, from
Yes.
Wyndham to all the way, a lot of what my kids consider
Yes.
someone looks like them.
Yes.
Your reflection on that?
Well, look, to be honest with you, I was behind in many of this. I'm still encouraging young people to participate. Even don't think about winning or not winning, but standing. Because this is a message to the broader community. One thing that unites us is not the words that we talk between us. Unite us because when we see figures of leadership, like you said, your kids didn't ask what this person, where this tribe is. Unfortunately, in our generation, we say, what tribe, what country, whatever. But our kids, they see that black skin, they affiliate to it. And that's where we need to look at. Because now Australia is growing. Australia has the biggest opportunity. If we don't push our end to participate in what has happened, if you count now how many people succeeded, to be honest with you, it's handful. But we have a large number. Everyone noticed that. And the parties are also noticing that. The decision makers are looking to that. In fact, I tell you, I had Ted Bali is a good friend of, he's a patron of our organization. And we always talk about things. He sees the potential in our communities. We have the do things, we can do things. But we have not had the connection to it. So being visible with such elections is really a great hope and an opening door for many opportunities to come.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed.
It's a pleasure.
As we talk about refugees and stuff, as we said, we've been in Australia 40 years. Before that, we've been all over places. Sudan, Somalia, Djibouti. What do you tell the people who don't know the young Berhan, the story of young Berhan Ahmed leaving his beloved Asmara? What do you remember and record?
To be honest with you, it's good, sort of fast backward.
Yeah.
Thinking about childhood and growing, to be honest with you, one thing we didn't give our kids is that what we got. We come with a very strong resilience and determination. Despite the hurdles we went through, the hardship we faced, we thrived. Unfortunately, that is not reflected in our kids because we try to protect them from challenges. My childhood has taught me so much. If I say to myself, and every one of us has gone through that, from Eritrea landing in Sudan is a foreign, speaking Arabic, which I hardly had Arabic in my whatever. So from at the age of 14, 15 years, faced that struggle. It made me who I am today because I have to stand to survive. Then we went to Egypt, the same challenge, with no father, no mother, to stand on our feet. And that journey by itself is a university. Then coming to Australia, imagine very foreign culture, very foreign sort of everything in it. Start from culture, start from religion, start from environment. All are foreign for us. But we look at the small light that was shining to our face. We didn't see the dark side. We see the shining light that was coming to our face. And we used that to light our life. So, if there is any lesson to be given our kids, in fact, to be honest with you, and it would take me something different to this topic, I have a dream, and I always think, to take our youth to Africa, to explore them for 20 days, 15 days, to see what Africa looks like. They have the imagination of Africa. It's all pictures taken from everywhere. But if they go collectively as groups, they will learn so much. They will get connected to their roots. That gives them the pride of who they are. They come from a very strong culture, a very strong background that made their, parents, their grandparents to be who they are. And if we go back to our religion as Muslims, what did the Prophet say? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, peace and blessing be upon him, said what? The king who made justice, the just king is in Habasha, which is us. That's the first humanity gave refuge to any person in the world. There was no refuge being acknowledged in any history of mankind before that. So we are proud of our history. We have very strong history that our kids need to know. We are becoming refugee now because we made mistakes that our leadership has taken. But if we go back to our history, we were the center of civilization. They were the center of history. We were the center of religion. And Islam was the coming, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Khatim al-Anbiya wal-Mursaleen, and he said, all this leads to Islam because Islam has, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was sending these messages. The latest version of all this that Allah has sent to mankind to live ethically, morally, socially, in principles of respect. And that has been adopted by our forefathers and brought us to the best. So our kids, if there's anything to know, this is their roots. This is us. We're not a broken society. We are finding of all this prosperity of mankind into history. So I'm very proud to say this to my kids and to reiterate that we not just came here from nothing. So Alhamdulillah, we have come through that and we are that. So I leave it to you.
Thank you. Thank you from bottom of my heart. I do appreciate giving us the valuable time, and hopefully this is the start of it. Hopefully we're going to have a lot of catch up to do. There's a lot of catch up to do, a lot of information to get passed to our community. And again, Dr. Berhan Ahmed,
thank you.
I do appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
I really like to thank you as well, because this is a legacy for our future generation. It's a question, our time is coming to an end. Our kids are the ones to overtake this journey. If we don't give them, if we don't show them, they will always remember us as in debt. So time for us is now to give them, to make them who they are. They're questioning, to be honest with you. I attend schools. I hear students at university. All of them, regardless of their background, they say to me, uncle. To be honest with you, if I see your son there, he feels like I'm his uncle. And I see your daughter the same, my daughter the same, because they feel we are one. They see that, they know difference. Except the boundaries, we old generation have it barriers broken into our brain. So inshallah that fades and the young generation flourishes as a united, and we get them to link to their roots together to be who they are, for who to remain in this country proud.
Inshallah, Dr. Ahmed, I do appreciate your time again. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Barakallah fiqh. Thank you. Barakallah fiqh.
Thank you.
Harari Kinaos Radio. Harari Kinaos Radio.